Whereas the NEX7 was a statement from Sony that they could make a high-ish end mirrorless camera. The NEX6 was more like just 3 words, a bit different. But now, they're possibly going to make a big statement with their new camera, the A6000. Well, for a start, they've killed off the NEX name. This is no longer an NEX, it's the A6000. But has this made the NEX6 as relevant as a dodo? Well, not quite. See, aesthetically, this looks pretty much the same. It could be the bastard love child of the NEX6 and the 7. And actually, in terms of the features externally, it is pretty samey. Features are pretty much the same: poppy-uppy flash, multi-interface shoe, same 3-inch screen, tilts and swivels. No, it just tilts. It tilts a little bit. Buttons in the same place, same battery. And in some areas, the NEX6 is still better, like the viewfinder resolution, magnification, and geeky tools. Well, alright, there are some improvements. It's got more megapixels, and now you've got NFC on top of the Wi-Fi. And now the buttons are better because they've got writing on them. You actually know what they do. Separating the control dial and the mode dial is much better. And the grip is far grippier because it's bigger. It also has a new BIONZ processor. What does that mean? It means that noise performance has been improved over the NEX6. Oh yes. Oh yes, the noise performance is pretty amazing. In a dimly lit place I could get usable shots up to ISO 12800 of a fork with just a scattering of noise in the mid-tones. Impressive. But we haven't got to the juicy bit yet. The key improvement here is with the autofocus. It has 179 autofocus points. That is stupidly dumb. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean like Sony are dumb. I'm not just bashing them again. 179 autofocus points. Dickheads. Sony claim the A6000 has the fastest AF for mirrorless camera with APS-C sensor with the 16 to 15mm lens on a nice fine day, probably. Yeah, nice, but we want to simply test how good that AF is in practice. But you know what, we can't test this by just taking pictures of water, birds, some leaves, and perhaps a guy contemplating his own suicide. But luckily, the World Cup is happening, so that means a tenuous tie-in with football. So, off to the pitch to see how the AF performs. Hang on a minute. Where's the pitch? What? Oh, just because Hong Kong and China didn't qualify, no need to take the pitch away. Tantrum. And they got a China flag over there. Or was that golf? Turning as a golf course. Ah, oh, never mind, we'll do it here. Test number 1, tracking. We're doing it seriously now, serious tests. We're going to test to see how this tracks. Obviously, it's self-explanatory. But we need a reference camera to compare the speed of this. And that is coming to me soon. Oh, magic! The Nikon D4S. The first test is all about something which is really fast and not so predictable in a game. It's incredibly technical. Oh! Requires great balance. Oh! Whatever this involves. Oh! Oh! And being good at FIFA, probably. Oh! Okay, so the idea of this is very simple. That's the edge of the box because there's no lines here. The camera will track me. I'll do a little run and then dive into the box. See how well both cameras track me. Plus, got to make sure the dive is dramatic enough. The A6000 tracks reasonably well, got a little confused midway through. Not as responsive as the knee-cappingly good D4S, unsurprisingly. Number 2, far to near focusing, done with a goal celebration. Got our camera set up, put it next to the corner flag. Both cameras do 11 FPS with continuous AF. This test is to show how well they can refocus on the subject moving towards the camera. Still, shooting at maximum burst, the A6000 keeps up well with focusing on me. It's only when I got quite a bit closer that the focus was a little off. It wasn't completely miles off what the D4S could do. Number 3 is the random movement autofocus test. This involves random movement and randomness. To create the random movement, blindfold. And then the other person is the randomness. That's why we've got this. There you go. Don't ask why. Just people have been saying that we're sponsored by Heineken. Largely untrue. Personally, I prefer the taste of another drink. Do. Lined and vocalicious. The point of the random movement AF test. Not all subjects will be as predictable as moving in a linear pattern. Some will be, random. But, things didn't get off to a brilliant start. Nobody's telling me. Upper Gangnam Style. What? Where the fuck is the ball? Ah! Let's be clear, we're not thinking that A6000 can beat the D4S focus. It's there for a benchmark. But we like the speed and responsiveness of the A6000's AF. Also, the coverage that the 179 points provide is handy. Okay, and we got one more test, the 4th test. Background distraction test. Me in the foreground, whatever that is in the background. Ah, we left these bananas here. Racist. D4S, world-class player, top performer. Will the Sony take the bait? Oh, it's a goal. Great focus. Time to say telly bye-bye. Oh, yeah.
The whole focus worked pretty well. But now it's using internal mic though.
The continuous AF is quite useful for video, but it seems like Sony isn't making this ideal for video despite the addition of the zebra function. So the OSS is pretty good. See, no external microphone. With regards to the autofocusing system, Sony has made the A6000 a winner. It's one of the better AF systems we've seen for a mirrorless camera, if not the best. All this focus, if you excuse the pun, has been on the AF system that it seems a shame that the EVF is a downgrade on the NEX6 and it doesn't have a mic input for video, which would have made this a truly formidable mirrorless camera. Don't know if it means that they will release another, a bit different camera with those features, but for now, the A6000 has made the statement.